One of my favorite patterns is the action pattern. And I've talked about it before. I made a video about it in the past, and I even wrote a book about it. But just to give you a short summary, the action pattern is all about using a class to model a single function, and then you can compose different classes out of each other. And it's just a really nice pattern with a lot of benefits. But modeling a class as a function is only half of the story, because the other half is about the data that's coming in and going out of that class. And that's why I really like to use data objects, just classes that only contain public, usually read-only properties. And it really creates a very logical way of reasoning about your code. You have the function at the center, you have data coming in from one side, going into that function, and then a result is coming out. And the data is statically checked before runtime. So you get a lot of certainty just from using this basic structure. Typed input, functionality, typed output. And what I really like to do is to convert untyped data to some kind of data object as soon as possible on the edges of my program, so that as soon as it enters my code, I know it's typed and I know it's checked. And that's what I really like about Tempest requests, for example, where request data is directly mapped to a typed object as soon as it enters the application. And you don't have to worry about, arrays of untyped and unchecked data. As soon as you've entered the application, data is typed and checked. And to me, this gives a beautiful symmetry, because on the one hand, you have typed checked data going in and going out, and then in the middle, there's the functionality where you write unit tests, and it all just clicks together so beautifully. And so there is this new RFC that talks about primary constructors, and the goal is to better facilitate these kinds of classes where you only have data by moving the constructor into the class itself, basically removing the need of a construct function and just putting it all together so that you have to write less and still have these data classes with their type-checked properties. And on the surface, this looks pretty nice because we're building on top of the things that PHP has been adding for the past, 10 years or so, like typed properties, promoted properties, read-only, async visibility, property hooks. We've been getting all of these features that are helping us to create like these data-oriented classes, making it easier because we have to write less code. But reading through this RFC, I can't help but think whether we might be just taking it a couple of steps too far. We seem to be working around a problem that actually has a very simple solution, and that are structs or data classes, whatever you want to call them. A class in object-oriented programming, it represents some internal state that's being encapsulated and that you can interact with through methods. And yes, we're adding more and more stuff into classes here in PHP, but honestly, we just need structs at this point. A concept entirely separated from classes to just represent data in a type-checked way. So yeah, this RFC is being discussed. I don't think this is the way we should go. I think we just should add structs, but I'm curious to hear your opinion. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.